impressive resume.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Good to have you here. So let's just start with the basic one. Audacity to soar, right? It's a beautiful name. What inspired that?
Audacity to soar is because it takes audacity to soar. You actually have to be intentional. Success is something that you have to intentionally seek after. It doesn't just fall on your laps. And sometimes, depending on where we're from, we've been told how to succeed, what extent we can go, where we can grow to. So it takes audacity, it takes deciding, I'm going to do well in this thing that I've chosen to actually soar.
Okay, so looking at the topic wealth generation, which your part two, even in a tough economy, let's start with wealth generation. What is wealth generation? How can people even leverage that term wealth generation first?
Okay, great. One of the things that I like to point out from the beginning is that wealth and riches are not the same thing. So being rich in money is one part of being wealthy. Wealth actually refers to the whole person. So do you have good relationships? Are you thriving in your health? It's one thing to make all the money and not actually be thriving in your health. Are you enjoying life? The thing that's actually producing the money for you, is it you feel fulfilled when you go to the job? So that's wealth, is the generality of you prospering and thriving. Now, when I talk about wealth generation and wealth creation, then the conversation actually starts with money, because money is the first key that you use to build it up. And so the idea is, with all that you currently have, how can you make more so that you can live the life that you want to live? And that also starts with defining, what life do I actually want to live?
Okay.
You know, how would I like to show up in this world? What work satisfies me? So a lot of this conversation starts in your mind. You have to clarify, who am I? What was I made to do? How can I do it well? Who am I made, who would I like to impact? Right? And then start from there outward. It starts within.
Okay, and I like the fact that you mentioned that wealth generation starts with riches. You know, in a country, a third world nation like Nigeria, we would say that a lot of people, would require such riches, much like money, to build on themselves and then grow. So what are the basic steps that you would advise for people out there to start with?
So one of the first things I would say is do a skills audit. What do you have? What are you capable of? And when you're doing a skills audit, I like to look at it in two ways. First, what am I naturally good at? So there's some of us, you're probably a doctor sitting at your table, but you remember that since you were small, people always said, oh, you know how to talk, you speak well. Or this person writes very well. Or this person comes in and is very dramatic. Or this person can sell ice to an Eskimo. Those are natural skills that you have that nobody gave to you, in quote, right? You naturally have them regardless of what you study. The first thing you need to do is actually identify what those are, because those are tools that you have that you can make money from. The next thing is then also to look at, what did I study? What did I learn in university? And one of the things about university is that university is a place you learn how to think. So whatever you study, they're just teaching you how to think in a particular regard, right? So also then list that. The third thing to then look at is what network do I have? When you put those three things together, then it's easy to say, because I'm great at speaking, I might have studied medicine, or because I'm great at writing, I might have studied medicine and I'm currently working in a hospital. But how else can I earn a bit more money? Can I start writing? Can I send my posts to the Huffington Post? Can I send them around so that I'm getting income in, right? So those are things that I would say to start with. Look at what you have, and then look at who needs what you have.
But for the average Nigerian who's literally basically struggling to eat 3 times 3 squared, even it's 3 squares, I don't think it's
maybe one
it's
zero
no
one.
more.
Yes.
Zero,
When you
zero,
get some
one.
probably drinks gari and granuts with fish, how is what it is. How can he kind of leverage to generate wealth?
Can I give you an example, a real life example concerning this? So I worked in an office one time where we had a 3-course meal at lunch every day. They gave us lunch. And a lady came up to me and said, oh, I like your weave. Can you give me? She was one of the people who served lunch. She worked in the kitchen. And I said, no, I won't give you the weave. But if you want, come, let's talk. And we'll see how you can make money to buy the weave at Christmas. And so I said to her, you work in an office. We worked in like a building where there were a lot of ladies. And I said to her, is it possible that all of us struggle to buy food and cook it on Saturday mornings. We come into the office 6 a.m., we leave the office 7 p.m., we get home at 9, 10 p.m. We have a problem. Clearly, we have a problem of feeding our families properly. You work in the kitchen, meaning every day you go to the market. Can you buy vegetables? Can you wash them for us? Can you cut them, put them in bags, label them and sell them to the ladies in the office? And she said yes, that was a possibility because she was already going to the market anyway. So she started to do that for us. In about a month or so, I heard she came to me and said, oh, I'm now doing pot of soup. I'm no longer just doing vegetables. She continued to do that. I left that place of work. I saw her about a year later in a salon that I went to get my hair done. First, she was in that salon. So I was like, you're here. Exactly. And she was like, she's left work and she's now bought a car. Because she now not only, the office was in VI, so she now not only served our office, she started to serve other offices. The reason why I like that story is because the ordinary Nigerian can probably relate to it. That one, you're doing a job that seems like it's barely providing your needs.
Yes.
At that time, a lot of the people who used to work in the kitchen didn't used to go back to their far houses because of the cost of transportation. So they used to spend like 3 or 4 days sleeping in the office so that they don't spend all their salary. So this is not somebody who's elitist. But she had a skill that she was not using. So sometimes what you need to do is step back and say, what am I doing? And what are the opportunities that exist in what I naturally do? We all have extra.
Nice.
We all have extra.
So we see that